Welcome to this screencast on finding the domain and range of the graph of a function. We have here a perhaps somewhat complicated function, and the graph is made up of this segment and this ray, which goes on forever, indicated by these arrows. We would first like to identify what the domain of the function is. The domain is everything that x is allowed to be. So we see here that we have x values that are used between -3 and +2. This closed dot means that -3 is part of the graph, but this open circle means that there's not really a point there, that the graph, this function goes all the way up to this point, but doesn't quite get to this point. So when we describe the domain, we have to say that x is between -3 and +2, but that it can't also equal 2. So we say this by saying that in the domain that we have x's such that -3 is less than or equal to x, also less than 2. But it's simply less than 2. It can't be equal to 2. Now we notice that we have more of the function down here, and that x can also take on the values 5, 6, 7, and so on, continuing to infinity. So the domain also includes, we would say, or x can also be greater than or equal to 5. So this domain is made up of two parts, and this set notation correctly describes the entire domain of this function. Now we'd like to say what the range of the function is. The range is everything that y is allowed to be. So we note here that y's can go from, always pick the lower number first, from 1 to 4. It can't include 1, but it can get all the way to 4.0. We also note that the range is also equal to -2 for this part of the function. So, to state this range, we would say the set of y's such that 1 is less than y, less than or equal to 4, or that y could also equal -2. This completes our screencast of giving the domain and range of a function from its graph.